Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Time Out Overtime on the Time Out Overtime YouTube channel. I'm Rick Arsenal, live and direct from the Frank Beck Chevrolet Studio Annex. You know the drill. Get down there in the corner, smash that like and subscribe button. Remember, the next subscriber to my podcast will be the winner. You already know what you're going to win. I don't have any prepared notes. It's been that kind of a day for me. As you know, we haven't done the show since last Wednesday. So I'm just going to kind of wing it for the next 15 or 20 minutes. Let's start with baseball. After a phenomenal game from, the world's greatest baseball player. 3 home runs. He was pitching. The Dodgers took care of the Milwaukee Brewers with very little problem. Anyway, they will be representing the National League come Friday night in Game 1 of the World Series. Game 7 of the ALCS tonight in Toronto with the Blue Jays taking on the Mariners. I think the Blue Jays will probably win tonight. So Game 1 of the World Series Friday night. Depending on who wins tonight. If the Blue Jays win, I believe the series will start in Toronto. If the Mariners win, I think the series will start in LA. I think that's the way it's going to work anyway. We'll have to wait and see. But again, if the Mariners win, it will be an all West Coast World Series. So we'll see. That's where baseball is right now. Hockey. What can you say about the Red Wings? Before we get into that, let's get our sponsors out of the way here. Finish Line Family Restaurant, as you know, or maybe don't know, under new ownership now, have implemented new hours. Monday, Thursday, and Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Best restaurant in the world. What can you say? For over 4 decades, they have served Hillsdale County proudly. And greatest breakfast in the world, great food, great service, friendly family atmosphere. It's got everything you want in a family restaurant. Like I said, for over 4 decades, serving our area. And I don't know what we would have done without them over the years. But get in there, get yourself a great meal. Remember, Monday, Thursday, and Friday night, they're now open until 8 o'clock. So I'll see you there tonight. You better be there. We're also sponsored in part by Frank Beck Chevrolet on Carlton Road, M99, between Hillsdale and Jonesville. Good folks at Frank Beck wanted me to remind you that October is truck month. You get in there right now and get a great deal on a truck, whether it be a Silverado or whatever. Now is the time to get to Beck Chevrolet. If you're in the market for a new truck, get in there and see one of those great salesmen in there, and they'll get you a great deal on a great truck at Frank Beck Chevrolet, M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville. Chevrolet together, let's drive. Chevy Drive, Southern Michigan, and Frank Beck Chevrolet is the leading Chevrolet selling dealer in our immediate tri-state area. Get in there now. Get a great deal on a truck, okay? Also brought to you in part by Barrett Insurance in downtown Jonesville on M99 and on the corner of M99 and US 12 in downtown Jonesville. 517-849-1000. BarrettINS.com. Barrett Insurance, protecting your dreams. As I said, on the corner of M99 and US 12 at downtown Jonesville. 517-849-1000. Barrett Insurance, protecting your dreams. That's BarrettINS.com. Red Wings. Todd McClellan said maybe one of the best things to happen to the Red Wings was getting blown out in a season opener and getting booed off the ice at Little Caesars. Since then, they have proceeded to win 5 games in a row. They're 5-1, and they currently sit on top of the Eastern Conference of the NHL with 10 points. They've got a couple of nights off. I believe it's this Wednesday and Thursday night. For the first time this year, they have back-to-back games on the road in Buffalo and then against the Islanders. Todd McClellan said the other day, maybe one of the best things to happen to them was to get blown out in the season opener and get booed off the ice. He called them out after that. Maybe they've done a little soul searching, but how have they been? What is the? How have they done this? How have they won 5 in a row? Hey, defense and goaltending. Gibson, who was probably their biggest off-season acquisition, the goalie. His first night in goal, a little nervous, first game for a new team. We did not have a good night. Hey, his last 2 games in net, he's been very good. The goaltending for the Red Wings so far has been good. The defense has been good. They're not scoring a lot of goals, but they're getting it done right now with defense and goaltending. Penalty kill has been very good so far. Knock on whatever here, wood or whatever. So we'll see what happens Wednesday night in Buffalo and then Thursday night out in Long Island. But so far so good. You gotta like what you've seen, and well, let's hope they keep it going. But you gotta like what you've seen so far. College football. Michigan, with a good second half, played Washington Saturday. They were tied 7-7 at the half. Michigan came out in the second half, very good defensively. Pretty much controlled the second half and pulled away from Washington. After losing to Southern Cal, they dropped out of the top 25 rankings. Well, now after beating Washington, they're back in the rankings now. They're the 25th ranked team in the nation right now. Michigan State hung with Indiana, in the first quarter. They were losing 38-10 with less than a minute left. Think about this, folks. The line on this game. Indiana was favored by 27.5 points. So with under a minute left, they've got a 28-point lead. State drives down and gets within field goal range and kicks a last-second field goal to beat the spread. Final score, Indiana 38, Michigan 13. Does this look suspicious to you? I said to somebody, what benefit did Michigan State have of kicking a field goal as time ran out? Well, I'd like to know. I'd like to talk to Jonathan Smith and ask him what was his motivation for kicking a field goal there as opposed to throwing a Hail Mary into the end zone to try to score a touchdown. You lost the game anyway. I'm not telling him to take a knee. But my gosh, why? You have to admit this looks very suspicious. Very suspicious. I don't bet, but if I had a bet on this game and I took Indiana and laid the 27.5 points and to see what transpired in the last half minute of the game, if I were watching that, I'd have lost my mind. You got to admit, it looks very suspicious. You have to wonder. It makes you wonder. Well, anyway, the rivalry game Saturday night at 7:30 on NBC from Spartan Stadium. Michigan is favored by about 2 touchdowns. Okay, I think Michigan should cover that. while the Spartan offense is okay, Aiden Childs is at times he looks very good, and at other times he doesn't. I just Seth, why NBC chose to put this game on at prime time on Saturday night, I don't know. This is about like the game a couple of weeks ago, Minnesota at Ohio State. But again, somebody asked me the other day if Michigan has a shot at making the playoffs. Not unless they were to run the table. That would include it went out the rest of and that would include beating Ohio State at home, and then winning the conference championship game, whoever they would be playing. I don't see that happening. I know Underwood is getting better with each game, but I just don't see that happening right now. I really don't. No. Anyway, that's where that is right now. Yeah, in the latest rankings, Ohio State, of course, is still on top. I don't think they'll be challenged at all the rest of the way if you look at their schedule. They're obviously going to be favored going into the game here in Ann Arbor the Saturday after Thanksgiving. As I say, that to me, that would be the only shot or Michigan would have in making the playoffs, would be to run the table. Lions tonight. Before we get that in, let's do this. We wouldn't be doing this show without the assistance and patience of Tim Lindley, Lendley, and his staff at Quality PC in downtown Hillsdale, 37 Walworth Street, directly across the street from Fat Jack's Automotive. 517-610-5372 for all your tech services. This is the only place around here to go, folks. There's no other place. Tech services, so fortunate to have a business like this among us. There was no other place to go. Look, computers, new or used, flat screen TV, mounting, programming set up. Maybe you're changing internet providers. You need that installed. Printers, anything at all. Get in there and see those folks. More than capable of resolving any technical issues you have. We're so fortunate to have them here. Once again, 517-610-5372, or get in there and see them at 37 Walden Street in downtown Hillsdale, and tell them me and Mickey sent you away. Thank you very much. Lions and Bucks tonight. First half of a doubleheader. Remember, it's a 7:15 start on ABC. Starts an hour earlier than usual. The second half of the doubleheader, who's going to stay up for that? It's a 10 o'clock start on ESPN. Well, I guess the folks on the West Coast will. Maybe that's primarily why they're doing this. Lions 5.5-point favorites. I think, again, my prediction would be I think the Lions will cover. They're banged up in the secondary. No Kirby Joseph. No Terrion Arnold. No DJ Reed. Of course, Bryant Branch serving a suspension. And the Bucks, too, are banged up. Apparently, future Hall of Fame wide receiver Mike Evans will be a game-time decision. I don't think that'll matter. I fully expect the Lion offense to roll tonight. I think Goff will have a good night. Defensively, I think Hutchinson will have a good night. Don't forget we got a Lee McNeil back tonight. Taylor Ducker back at left tackle. So I think it'll be an enjoyable game. Final score, maybe what? Lions 34, Bucks 27. How's that? 34-28 maybe. I think the Lions will cover. Then the Lions have a bye next week. They'll be off 2 weeks. Finally, they're home 2 weeks from yesterday to play the Vikings in the Lions actually playing a 1 o'clock game at home on Sunday? What's going to happen, huh? Anyway, that's going to about do it for today. I have a lot more to say on Wednesday. We'll know what the World Series matchup will be then. and Shohei Ohtani, a little bit of rest for him after his huge night the other night against Milwaukee. Guy's amazing, isn't he? World's greatest baseball player. Okay, I'll talk to you all again on Wednesday. Don't forget the Time Out Show every Saturday morning here locally on WCSR 92.1 FM from 9 to 10 every Saturday morning with Jed and Andy. I will talk to you folks all again then on Wednesday. So remember, thanks so much for watching. Remember, the next subscriber will be the winner. Please treat each other with respect. I'll talk to you all again on Wednesday. Have a good rest of your evening. So long, everybody, and go Lions. Bye-bye.